Good morning, as the Eberspecher Luge World Cup has made its way to the first of 4 races in the luge crazy nation of Germany. Good morning once again, everyone, and welcome to our live streaming. I'm Tim Singer. There's a great look at one of the great tracks on the luge circuit, the track here in Oberhof. It's technical, it's difficult, it's fast, and today is a foggy day. We've got doubles combined coming up to start off this opening day of action. The men's doubles and women's doubles, you'll see run number 1 of both of them. Then after a short break, we'll have the second and final heat of these two disciplines. A little later today, it's the women's singles competition. And then tomorrow, action concludes with both the men's singles and hopefully the first team relay of this season. Right now, I'd like to introduce my broadcast partner for today's doubles competition. He's the athlete representative of the executive board in the International Luge Federation. That's a big title, but he's a big guy, and we're so happy to have him with us. Good morning, Leon Felderer of Team Italy.
Good morning, everyone.
Tell us a little bit about what the situation is here in Oberhof and what the athletes have been saying this week.
Yeah, so we've experiencing super nice weather the last few days. Today's a little more Oberhof-like, so we have some foggy conditions, a lot of humidity, but the track is in great shape. It's super smooth, super fast. So yeah, I'm super excited for the race. I think we will see some fast times today.
What are some of your favorite parts about this track?
Well, I have to say, they just make a great event out of the Luge World Cup. There's always a lot of people here on the track, which is just great for the athletes to, get up the outrun, and there's like a whole wall of people cheering for you. That is just a great feeling.
There's some start shots, some of them live, some of which we have banked in the last few minutes or so. There's Austrian coach Georg Hackl. How about how Austria did last week on their home track, Leon?
Well, they dominated the last World Cup. They showed incredible speed, especially in the men's singles event, with taking the top 4 spots. They've been known for going fast. They've been known for having good sleds, and that's what you can expect then on a home track. And I think they're going to be fast here as well.
By contrast, you just saw the Americans preparing their sleds. The USA does not traditionally do well on this track. The World Championships were held here 2 years ago, so this facility has been modernized. It's been rebuilt 7 times. The Canadian doubles team had a good day yesterday in Nations Cup, so they will be the second sled to start. Wardrobe with, did he shave his mustache, Leon? It looked like it.
I didn't see it. I hope not.
Okay.
I think it looks good on him.
Well, actually, back to the to things that matter here. The luge race. 4 races. This is the first of 4 in Germany with those yellow DHL jackets. Who are the best countries to prevent the Germans from sweeping medals at these races in Oberhof?
It's going to be the Austrians for sure. They've been known for doing well here in Oberhof. Jonas is a great slider here in Oberhof. He loves the track. Also, the doubles have been showing great speed. It's a very short track, so the start is very important, which might not come to favor to the Austrians. But we can see. We will see what happens during the race today.
Here's a look at Toby Alt, one of the best ever in the sport of men's doubles, just giving one of his souvenir postcards, the Wendell Alt postcards, to a very excited young luge fan. Enjoy some of the pictures here. In a couple of minutes, we'll give you a closer preview of the track. How about these young Americans, Leon, in men's doubles?
They've been doing well. They've been showing great speed, just not yet super consistent. They also had big problems yesterday in the Nations Cup run. Still were able to take the win, which shows the potential they have. They're just like two big guys, and they know how to drive a they know how to drive a sled, and they know how to start. So you know, the future's theirs.
There will be 19 sleds in this competition today. All but one will qualify for run number 2. 18 make it into the second run of these doubles competitions, 20 in singles. So a closer look now here in Thuringia. We're in the smack in the middle of Germany, geographical center in the Thuringian forest, the Oberhof track. It's for doubles. My stats are showing me 938 meters total with that lower start. And in a second here, Leon, we're gonna take a ride down from top to bottom, from the lower start right to that finish. Kreisel, take it away.
Yeah, so in the first few corners there's not a lot of speed, but you have to be perfect on line, because otherwise you're gonna skid, and that's just too much time to make up here in this short track. Here we have the short curve 7, then going into 8, that's now where it gets spicy. So 9, 10, 11, here you have to be perfect on line, otherwise you're gonna have big problems here out of 11. Going into 12 usually is a very nice corner to drive. A lot of pressure here through 13 onto the long straightaway and into the finish curve Kreisel, and yeah, that's it. But it's you know, it's a very nice track to drive, especially if you have a good run.
It's always a nice track when you have a good run.
That is also true, but it just, you know, it feels very nice. It feels satisfying, so to say, to have a good run here.
Well, as Leon said, it's a little foggy outside. We've had some sunny conditions over the past couple of days, but as you can see, the temperature is actually perfect for some competitive luging today. That's good news as we welcome our viewers who have woken up around the world to tune in on our live streaming on the YouTube channel. As you see those start records and track records, Egert back in business here. He held the track record with his longtime partner, Sasha Bennigan. Good morning to Mauricio, who's up early watching, and he picks Bots and Plume of Latvia as his favorites today. Mauricio says also good morning to everyone, especially Leon. Okay, here we go. Look at, yes, there's the start list. 19 go. The first 3 were the top qualifiers yesterday's in the Nations Cup, then the seeded group, and then the rest of the field as we count them down to the Romanians. So get ready. We're almost set for some doubles action. Leon, did you ever try doubles?
Yes. I was sliding doubles with Lucas Kufler in the year 2019, where we did both, but still in the junior circuit. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. It's just too much if you have to do it both at the same time. But it's definitely a lot of fun.
And very few do it. If you know the sport of luge, you'll see Wolfgang Kindl in this morning's race. Mm-hmm. In the women's race, you'll see Olena Shtechkiv of Ukraine. And I think one Latvian, Kaluma, maybe. Those are the only 3 right now that do both singles and doubles. They are very, very busy athletes.
Very busy.
The chairlift not running, but there it does look like winter there.
Oh, it looks like winter. We had, yeah, it's a winter wonderland, so to say. We have snow here. The trees are white, and yeah, it's great. That's how it should be in winter.
Absolutely. And we didn't see it much last year, did we?
No, unfortunately not.
All right, we'll open things up with the team from Poland, Wojciech Chmielewski and Jakub Kowalewski, 29 and 30 years old, respectively. They finished as part of the team relay, a very respectable 8th place in Beijing, as Poland hopes to field a relay team tomorrow. They were in the lineup last weekend before the relay was canceled. You think we're going to get to a relay tomorrow, Leon?
Yeah, I think so. Last week there was just some technical problems because they had some problems with the electricity already for the men's race. So yeah, touchpad just didn't work out, unfortunately. But it should be working fine for this week. At least the tryout yesterday was working fine, so I don't see any problem for Sunday.
That's great news. 2 runs combined time. Again, they will run the first run of men and women, then the second run of men and women. No mistakes top to bottom, and they should be somewhere near the top 10.
It's good that we have these cold conditions today, if the races go back-to-back for men doubles and women doubles, so that the track won't slow down for the lady doubles. And here we can see a great run from the Polish team so far. It's looking very smooth, very relaxed on sled, puts his head far back.
The Finnish Kreisel into the finish line with a time of 42.105. That's some 0.8 of a second behind the track record. We don't expect to see the track record among these first several sleds. And maybe, Leon, in these foggy conditions, there will be no track record today?
Yeah, I'm excited to see. Yesterday the times were pretty close to the track record in seated group training. So we could see a track record depending on how the track holds up with these foggy conditions. But yeah, I think we will have to wait for a few more sleds and then we can tell. But that was a solid run out of the Polish team.
It sure was. Not a lot of spectators on hand yet, but believe me, as the day moves on, you will see those bleachers fill up with luge fans.
Yes, definitely.
The Canadians now on ice, Wardrobe and Zajanski.
Ooh, a little early to 7. Which was not ideal.
Okay.
Bit late into 8, but they corrected it well. Also mid 10, which is not great, so they have a little bump early to 11, but they did a very good job at correcting it. A little rough, not ideal.
Yeah,
run out of the Canadians.
Sure, that exit at 13, you could hear the skidding, and now they cross at a time of 42.302, some 0.2 of a second behind Team Poland.
Definitely not the run that they were hoping for. Just a little off, a little skidding there, maybe late into 12 a bit, and then like scratching the wall out of 13, which is not ideal. Here we can see exit of 13, just a little too high at the end, and then that pushes them to the right wall.
Okay, one North American team down, as you see, with a first run time of 42.302. They'll head back for the second heat in a little bit, they hope, as we get ready for a very exciting young American team, Marcus Mueller and Ansel Haugshaw. They are undefeated, Leon. They have raced in the qualifying Nations Cup 3 times. They've won all 3 of those races. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's very impressive out of these young guys. They've been showing some great speed. As I said, they know how to drive a sled. They are competitive at the start, and they're 2 big guys, so they bring all that a fast run needs. And so far the run looks pretty good.
After that win at the Nations Cup in Lillehammer, they had a crash in the first run, then the best time in the second run. They came back for a 7th place finish last week. Not too bad, a little correction, but a good time here.
Yeah, that's a solid run. Big hit out of the Kreisel, but that doesn't affect them too much for now. But maybe it will then on the it definitely will then on the team relay, because they still need to go up the up run and hit the pad. But that was a solid run. They had some troubles in training and also yesterday for Nations Cup, so I think that was a solid run. It was not perfect, but it was a solid run.
41.869 was their time there. A little close to the wall on the to the side on the paddle.
here they bumped a bit too early, so they were looping a bit in 11. Yeah, and here we can see the hit, but that doesn't affect your time at all.
I was scared of it. Hi, Mom, my dad.
Now we move our way to the seeded group. Starting off with the Slovakians, Vaverček and Zmi. And Mauricio writes in, a quick question comes in from one of our viewers, Leon. They want to know what you think about Leon Hazelreiter.
Well, he's a great slider, great athlete. I think he did well on the junior races so far. They go to Winterberg for the next weekend, so I'm definitely following this and hope that he will have some great results there as well.
Slovakians trailing the Americans right now in the early going here.
Nice and smooth lines here. But they cannot keep up with the American speed. Oh, little high at the end. A bump, but they did a very good job at correcting this and staying on line. But it's not great for your speed.
No, not at all, as they have a fourth place time right now, 41.689. Their speed in miles per hour translates to 67.7. And that's better than a mile an hour slower than the Americans.
So far, Walter Pseliansky from Canada. Und jetzt Sexty Gregorio und Sean Hollander aus den USA.
This was a good correction here, right?
Yeah, just too much height and then hit the wall, but he did a very good job at correcting this and staying on line without hitting more walls than just one.
So tradition here in Oberhof with the spectators lining the finish ramp and the athletes greeting them after they are finished with their run. Now the American team of Zach Di Gregorio and Sean Hollander, as Teresa writes in, watching live on YouTube early this morning in the United States, saying, "Go USA." These Americans finished in 9th place in both of the races held here last season. There were 2 World Cups in Oberhof last year. There will be 2 in Oberhof this year. That is a lot of Oberhof, Leon.
It is a lot of Oberhof, yes. I couldn't agree more. Maybe too much Oberhof for me. But you know, they make such a great event out of the Luge World Cup, and there's not so many tracks right now for us that we can make use of. And it's a great option to have World Cups here. Although I don't do particularly well here, but you know, we really enjoy staying here and racing here.
The Americans cross just about a 1/10 of a second behind their USA teammates. Di Gregorio and Hollander currently in 2nd place out of the 5 that have made their way down. We should say, Leon, while we have this chance with the 2 USA sleds finished here, that the 3rd American team, Kellogg and Ike, are not competing this week.
Yes, yes. Yeah, Kellogg suffered a shoulder injury during the race in Eagles last week. And he's back in the US getting some rehab. And I hope to see you soon, Dana. All the best if you're watching. They seem pretty happy with their run. They had a good start time, so I was surprised to see them fall back in comparison to the younger doubles team partners.
And here's another team that generally has pretty good start times from Italy, Nagla and Malaya. And they had good results here last year in the World Cup. They're in the 2nd World Cup in Oberhof. The Italians had a 5th place finish.
That was a very good start time out of these 2 guys. The start record is 27, so they're just 300 off the start record. But they really enjoy sliding here. They like the track. And they've been showing some great speed during training. Maybe a bit high through 11, but nothing serious.
Good
Good lines here.
Nice bit of steering out of curve 13. They should be in the green here across the finish. Smooth in the finish, Kreisel. 41.863 by 0.006 of a second. They stay up on the Americans.
That was a solid run. They were able to keep it close with the Americans. They lost a little bit of time at the end. But overall, it's great racing, and we're excited for the second run already because it promises a lot when times are that close.
So in the early going here, it's Italy leading over 2 sleds from the United States. And yes, Leon Dana is up and watching. So you knew that was the case. He wasn't going to miss this race.
Yeah, I was hoping he would not.
Now Yannick Müller and Armin Frauscher, the first of 3 very competitive Austrian teams.
Yeah, now I'm excited to see what they can do here.
They had a 5th place finish in the first of the 2 Oberhof races last season. Trailing quite a bit there at the start. Their start was about the same as the Americans' start time.
Yeah, but they've improved a lot on the start for this year. Last season they had big problems at the start, so that could be an issue here in Oberhof. And now that they have a more competitive start time, I think we can see some fast times out of these guys. And as we can, you know, the sled is running well. They're already in the green. A little correction.
Ooh. Staying off of each wall, but they probably lose a bit of time with that steering. It's enough to keep them out in the green ahead of Italy, but there was some corrections happening. There were some corrections happening between 13 and 14.
Yes, and as you could see, they were not able to go early into the Kreisel. So in the Kreisel, you want to go in as far as to the red side as you can to make a very smooth entrance because you have a lot of speed and the entrance can be rough. And they were not able to do so, so they lost some time there. And also the start curve was not perfect, so they have a little bit more time in that run. Here we can see just a little correction and then sending it to the left side. But he did a very good job at not hitting any walls.
Next up from Latvia, Ševiks Miklaševiks and his bottom man Lukas Krasts, both 23 years old, now living in Sigulda. And shout out to Ashley Farquharson, who messages in on the YouTube chat. Of course, Ashley is not watching because it's blocked in Germany, and they would never have a phony IP address, but glad to see you're chatting in, Ashley.
A bit too early to 9, and that's gonna be problems, yeah. Just rough. Yeah, once the line is off in 9-10, then it's just gonna be yeah, rough run, and not what you want to have, and not what you need to have to be able to compete here with the best of the world.
No, that's a 6th place time of a 46.121. That's what I call, Leon, there was nothing major there, but it's what we call a series of minor mistakes and corrections, and they all add up.
That can be so much time if you don't find the flow in the track, especially here in Oberhof, because you go from corner to corner. There's not a lot of long straightaways until you get to 11. And yeah, he was just a bit off. Also at the start, he bumped a bit too early, so it was just, yeah, just not. He didn't find the flow through the run, and that can be so much time. Also here, he doesn't seem too comfortable on the sled. Latvians usually do well here on this track because it's people say it's quite similar to Sigulda because there's a lot of pressure in the corners and not too many straightaways. You go from corner to corner, and yeah, that's similar to Sigulda.
Emanuel Rieder, Simon Kainz-Waldner now up. They both claim their favorite track is Sochi, I don't remember. Were you at the 2020 World Championships in Sochi, Leon?
I was not. I was racing there at the World Cup, but not in the World Champs.
Okay, I'll see how they did there. There's got to be a reason why that's their favorite track.
Yeah, I think they won the bronze medal in the sprint.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Solid run here. You can hear a little whistle that comes from the sled. So there's some air going through it and making this noise. Just not able to go the speed with the Austrians, and yeah. They have some issues right now with the sled. Fifth place time. So they're not happy. It's not where they want to be. They have some problems with the sled right now. They're trying to figure it out. They've been trying a lot, doing the training. Yeah, lines are looking great, but it's just the time is not there for them at the moment.
Emanuel did a great job to keep his head down and stay relaxed as he stayed off of that wall.
Yeah, as you can see, there's a little bumps out of 13, which makes it quite interesting. Because that could go either way. If you're relaxed, then it's nice, and if you're like tense, it could send you to the left side or to the right side.
World champions from the race last year in Altenburg, Gott and Schuff, the second of three from Austria, 7.411 start time. They finished sixth in both of the races last year.
That was maybe a bit too late in my opinion, going to 8, but he did a very good job at just letting the sled run, as always. And he's picking up
Leon, you were mentioning there are not a lot of straightaways here in Oberhof as they move into the green. What tracks have the most straightaways? What's the opposite track of Oberhof?
Maybe Eagles. Eagles has a lot of straightaways. Winterberg has a lot of straightaways, I would say. Sochi has a lot of straightaways. So here we have a lot of tight corners, and the other tracks we have a lot of open, long corners. And yeah, that is the difference. So you always have time to breathe and refocus before going into the next corner. Here you don't. Here it's back to back.
As Leon mentioned, the Austrians are doing well here, and right now they hold the top 2 positions. The top 5 at the moment: Austria, Italy, USA, and USA. 10 have made it down, 9 remain, and we have a young German team now, the first of 3 competing today from Germany, and this is a team that is sliding on its home track. And last year, Orlamunda and Gubitz were on the podium in both World Cup races, and on top of that, Leon, they won the sprint competition here in Oberhof last year.
Yeah, they definitely know how where to go here on their home track. They've had a great time yesterday in the Cedar training, so I'm excited to see if they can show some good speed again here.
Fast start time, 7.411.
It's a very good start time. The line is looking great, and he's a 10th ahead already. So we might be seeing a new fastest time here in the first run.
1/10 of a second up on Austria already. If they stay perfect here, look out. This could be a big advantage. 1/4 of a second down here at the bottom. 1200s.
1200s, yeah. Very good run out of the 2 German guys. They look very happy with their run.
The horn sounding in the background, excitement from the crowd. The yelling announcer, is that Wilhelm? That's
yes.
A public address announcer?
Yeah.
He does a great job here in Oberhof.
You can see a lot of steering here at the end of Kreisel. because there's a lot of pressure and you want to get out without hitting walls. Even if it doesn't affect your time, it affects your arm. It's not a good time if you hit that wall, especially if you hit it over and over again.
All right, Orlamunder and Grubitz in the lead. They're not the only Germans in this race. In fact, they're not the only Thuringians in this race, because the hometown hero, Tony Egert, right there, a two-time Olympic medalist, with his new doubles partner, Florian Müller. This is just their third World Cup together, but already, Leon, they have one victory.
Yeah, and they're the World Cup leaders, so yeah, it's good to have Tony back on tour. I think he's definitely adding value to the doubles field, and yeah, he knows how to drive a sled. He knows how to let the sled go, and it's just a joy of watching him slide. Although he's not keeping up with the young German team at the moment. Yeah, they go to speed with the young German this time. Although the run looked solid.
Fourth place, just ahead of the Italians and the Americans, but behind their German teammates and two of the Austrian sleds. And it takes a while to get comfortable with a new teammate, even if you're a man that's probably taken more runs down this track than anyone in doubles.
Yeah, definitely. Everybody's different. You know, you have to work together on a double sled. It's not just him driving the sled. It's a combination of both, and you need a lot of runs to find your rhythm and to find the feelings for each other on the sled. But I think they're already on a very good path, having one victory and being the World Cup leader, going into third race of the World Cup. I think they've done some things right. But he's not too happy with the round, seems like.
No, and this is a work in progress, the two of them, for sure. Now the third of the three Austrians, Thomas Stoy right there, is another man who had to get used to a new teammate. But his new teammate, one of the greats in singles, Wolfgang Kindl, doing double duty. Stoy and Kindl, the defending World Cup overall points champions.
Yeah, Thomas Stoy is always putting his head very far back, so he's paying a lot of attention to the aerodynamics on the sled, and he's not able to see a lot if he slides like that, but it's been working out for him so far.
Right now it's looking like a second place time, and it really did a great job, that entrance into 14. So just off of the pace, it looked like, Leon, that Stoy really had to work for that.
Yeah, he had to work for that out of 13. It seemed a bit out of control, but he was able to keep it together. And maybe he lost a bit of time, but I think 700, it's pretty close, and it's definitely some improvements for the second run, which is good for them. So they know that they have a little bit more time in the run. But yeah, as I said, he has great form on the sled. As you can see, he puts his head far back, and with that, he just got a bit to the right, which puts him then a bit late into Kreisel, so that can be like a few hundreds there. But yeah, you need to risk it if you want to win something. Definitely. That's the name of the game.
That's a great point. That is excellent. Now the final Latvian team, the winners of last week's race in Innsbruck, Bats and Pluma. In the two races last year here in Oberhof, they finished just off the podium both times. In each case, a fourth place finish.
Usually
a few more paddles here. Yeah, a few more paddles here, Leon, than in Eagles.
Yeah, in Eagles, I think the double team was doing 4 paddles, and here you do like 5 or 6, depending on how fast you paddle.
Currently, Germany in 1st and 5th place, the Austrians in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
Yeah, I'm surprised seeing them fall back so far. They've been showing great lines. Usually they have great speed in the track, as we've seen in the last couple of races here.
It's one of the nicest 13-14 straightaways we've seen so far, but they lost their time a little earlier, so they're a quarter of a second back. Standings are pretty tight still between third and, say, 8th or 9th place.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's not even a quarter of a second. So we will definitely see some shuffling then in the second run.
Und jetzt die geballteste Erfahrung, die es auf einem Doppelsitz
5 paddles,
Five
right?
paddles, yes. 5 strong paddles. And then a nice cut into the start course 4.
Und Tobias A. Sie wissen es, 6-mal Gold bei Olympia und Oberhof können Sie. Bahn ist frei. Check is clear.
Charles Latvia. Siinä mies.
Third of the 3 German teams in today's men's doubles competition. Toby Vendel, Kobe Alt, both from Bavaria. Among their all-time 53 World Cup victories come several here in Oberhof. Last year, Leon, they were on the podium in both races, but no victory. They had a
25.
third and a second start
Wow.
record.
Neuer Startrekord, 7,2.
Start record for one of the older doubles in the field. So that goes to show you that you don't need to be the youngest guy to be still able to be athletic and competitive at the start. That is an incredible
Vendel was
start
saying,
time. That is
yeah,
sensational.
Vendel was saying they're still in great shape. Now they made a little mistake here. Will they give the 500ths away down here at the bottom? This is going to be,
Oh,
and they
it's
do.
close. It's close.
So the start was fantastic.
Wow.
Toby Vendel was saying before the season they're really working hard to stay in great shape.
Yeah, they're in great shape, as you can tell. Like a 25, Ola Münder and Gubitz had a 34, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's almost a 10th at the start. And he had some problems out of 13, but other than that, the run was good, and those guys are going fast.
Both 37 years old. Yes, and
Crazy.
Olamander and Gubitz had a 34, actually closer to a 35. But wow, that's a close race with Germany, not surprisingly, holding the top 2 positions on this track in Oberhof.
Yeah, he had some right pressure here out of corner 13, and that sends him to the right wall, but he did a good job at correcting, and it, you know, he prevented from being a big mess up. But yeah,
Well, that's a situation here.
It's insane.
Yeah, that's great. That is great. After all these years, they're still setting records.
Yeah.
Top 6 right now, 3 from Germany, 3 from Austria, as we've made it through the seeded group, but we still have a few sleds remaining here from the qualifying. Romania's Gitland and Serban up now. A few more people up early watching. Veronica is up. Thanks for your words. And Dominic, teammate of yours, Leon, he'll be racing tomorrow.
Silver medal in the sprint. That's he said the silver medal in the sprint. So Emmanuel and Simon were had.
Ooh, yeah, they had a little issue here.
That's
Gitland
exactly
and
what I was saying. If you go left into the finish Kreisel, the entrance is very rough, and there was so much time. He was just too early to the right side and then hit right before the entrance, and that sends him straight to the left side and very late in the Kreisel. Up, down, up, and you just lose so much speed and time in the finish Kreisel like that. And it hurts, because that's a lot of pressure hitting you at one point.
It looked good for a while.
It looked good, yeah, and then was just steering a bit too much, and then, yeah, late into Chrysler, up, down, and so much time lost, and so much speed lost.
From China, Saikai, Jubai, and Xu Ho. Both 24 years old. They finished 15th last week in Innsbruck. You were here a couple of years ago for the World Championships, Leon. What is incredible, not just the spectators, but the number of volunteers. There were close to 100, if not more than 100 volunteers. You're still seeing some of them here at the track with their orange jackets.
Yeah.
They love luge in this region of Germany.
They love luge here, absolutely.
Pretty good driving here.
Yeah, you know, the Chinese guys are always having solid runs, I have to say. They are doing a good job at getting the sled down straight. They're not able to go to speed with the bigger nations yet, but the starts and the driving, it looks good to me. So they want to improve a bit of sled tech for the next few years, but as far as driving goes, they do a very good job.
And to improve sled tech, Leon, does that mean you need to get in more experts, or you need to get more funding, or all of the above?
Oh, if I only knew.
Right.
It's a very tough subject. You definitely need to invest a lot in technology nowadays because you know there's a lot of technology available that you can make use of in 2024. But obviously that goes hand in hand with a lot of funding and a lot of money that needs to be spent. So most of the times the small nations don't have that budget, and that's why we see the big difference in technology gap, as we like to say.
Well, the good news for China, who just went down, is they have qualified for the second run. They're not sitting in last place at the moment. On the bubble currently is Romania's Zitland and Serban, as another Romanian team's getting ready to go next. But here's the entrance from Ukraine, Poi and Kaczmar. Anything other than last place will get you into the second run.
That's a very good run.
To the finish line, 18th place. So right now they're sitting on the bubble. They'll have to wait and see what the final sled from Romania does. And as you said, Leon, it was a good run, but it was a late in run number one run. And again, it might be equipment here.
Yeah, I don't know. The track seems to be holding up quite good. It should be. It's cold enough for the track to hold up for this time. They had some. they're not the best at the start, and
right.
Yeah, the sled is definitely not amongst the fastest. So it's the combination of those two factors that then sends them into the 18th place at the moment.
That's a great point. They had the 18th fastest time at the start, and that was a full 1/10 of a second they gave away with their start time. That is too much. All right,
too much.
Run number one boils down with this final Romanian team, Hondarek and Mocha, on course looking for a top 18 down here at the bottom. They need to be within 1.3 seconds of the lead to qualify for the second run.
Ooh! A lot of height at the end of 9. Oh, just trying to keep it together and not crash.
It's the closest we've seen to a crash, but they are going to give it away. This is very unlikely going to be a qualifying for the second run. As they skid across the finish in a time of 43.19, a second and a half behind the leaders from Germany.
Yeah, they were struggling their run. I don't know what happened in 9, but they had just too much height at the end and almost flew into 10. And yeah, that point you just slide to survive, so as I like to say. Yeah, we can see a lot of height. Almost a crash going into 10. But yeah, somehow managed it to keep it together and be right on line, going into 11 again.
All right, we're going to get a quick look at the standings. Don't go anywhere, folks, because we will segue, transition, as we like to say, directly into women's doubles. There will be no break. The break will be between the two runs. But here's how things stand. Germany, not surprisingly, in front. But the surprise is the younger of the German teams, Orlamunda and Gubitz. Germany 1-2, Austria 3-4-5, and Germany in 6th place, as the Americans and the Italians and the Latvians make up the rest of the top half. The top 18 will all qualify for run number 2. So they'll set things up. We'll refresh our browsers. We'll get the women's getting ready in just a second. Who do you like, Leon, for this women's doubles competition?
Well, looking at the times yesterday from seated training, we have to say the Austrians are so fast. They are not competitive at the start with the other doubles, but they just find so much time in the track, which is incredible. And definitely then the German teams, I think they will have some great speed, as we are already seen that in the men doubles. So I don't see why it should be a problem then for the women doubles as well.
2 Germans, both of them in the top 6. Diana Eitberger on her home track here. She should fare pretty well. The Americans will be last to go. We have 2 new teams, one from Germany and one from the USA. A welcome back to Maya Chan with her new doubles teammate. It should take them a little bit of time to get used to world-class racing, but Maya certainly has a great resume of past performance with her former partner. But we'll start things off here with the team from Italy. Falkensteiner and Huber. They're a young team, their first full season on the World Cup.
First full season of the World Cup. They've been struggling a lot here doing training, but if they get it down, they find a lot of speed in the track. They are usually not the fastest at the start, but they have a good feeling and a good sense of letting a sled run and driving a sled. So they find a lot of time in the track.
22 and 20 years old, respectively, from the town of Bruneck, northern Italy. Where is Bruneck?
Where is Bruneck? It's actually close to Cortina. If you think of the South Tyrolean region, it's to the east side. So I think it's like an hour drive from Cortina, maybe. I could be wrong, but I would assume like an hour drive from Cortina.
It's a good look at all of the equipment that a double sled has with the athletes, the straps. The lower athlete is strapped to the upper athlete. That allows them to stay tight, to paddle in pull, as you see, in synchronization. And here we go, run number 1 of the women's doubles from Oberhof. These 2 have finished in 10th and 8th place in the 2 races to start this season. It is nice, Leon, to see the women's doubles field growing a little bit.
Yeah, it's nice to see them. To see the field growing a little bit. Well, that was a very scary skid going into 10.
They have it together down here at the bottom. Kreisel will take another look at what happened.
I think they carried too much height at the end of 9 and too much crossover to 10, and then the sleds started skidding upwards, and that could go bad. Oh,
wow,
good steals. That hurts to watch. Yeah, what happened here? The entrance 9 looked good, just too much cross going into 10, and then they started skidding upwards. And usually you want to turn this sled as fast as possible in 10 to get a nice and smooth entrance into 11. So they bumped a little early to 11, but it's not the end of the world.
Well, good to see smiles at least, as this early in run number 2, we could be seeing a podium run right here. Diana Eidberger knows this track better than anyone in today's women's doubles race. During her long singles career, she won here in Oberhof, and she was also a winner on the World Cup in doubles last year with her former partner, Saskia Schirmer. But now it's Eidberger teaming up with Lena Machina. Oh, I remember that dog from last year, barking at the same spot on the track.
Yeah, do you? Some troubles here, but nothing crazy. Ooh. Yeah, she's fighting on the sled, as you can tell. So she's not able to let
That
it
straightaway here to 14 was a little rough, but a track record 42.675. That betters the track record set at last year's World Cup, and it does it by, I think, more than nearly 2/10 of a second.
But yeah, that was not the best run. Yeah, just sends it up a bit at the end of 11, and then a hit before 12, and also here a bit too early down. Was about to drop her feet, just fighting on the sled, fighting for the right line.
But as I mentioned, Leon, Diana probably has more runs down this track than anyone, at least in this race in women's doubles.
Definitely, definitely.
Blue light, explain.
So with the blue light, you have to get your sled checked. They check like everything, top to bottom. So let's hope that everything's all right for them.
Okay, back in 2018, when Diana Eidberger captured silver at the Olympic Games in singles, this woman on top here from Romania had her highlight of her career, Raluca Strămăturaru, with a 7th place finish at the Olympic Games. She shifted to doubles the same year Eidberger did, and now Raluca on course with her partner, Mihaela Mănălescu.
Yes, some troubles, same as Diana. A flat 12 and got picked up at the end again. Not what you want to see, not what you want to have happen. And yeah, far behind. But she doesn't look relaxed on the sled. She's always looking, her head is far up.
Right. We talked about that, you and I, in Lillehammer.
I'm surprised by that because she has a lot of experience and she definitely knows the tracks. She's showing good lines most of the times, but just doesn't seem relaxed on a sled. And yeah, the aerodynamics play a big role in our sport as you go very fast down the track.
Now between 13 and 14 here, she did put the head back again, so that was nice to see.
She's
a little bit, right?
I don't see the aggressive layback where you don't see anything at all, and you're just ready to risk it all just to speed up.
From Poland, Domowicz and Piwkowska grabbing the handles. They finished 7th in Lillehammer, followed that up with a 9th place last week in Austria. They both consider Whistler their favorite track, which bodes well for the World Championships this year.
That is very good for them, yes. The biggest race
and
of the year.
Right, and La Plagne, Nicola says La Plagne is one of her favorites as well.
Okay.
And we'll be back there in 6 years for the Olympics, right?
Yeah.
La Plagne track.
Yeah.
It lives.
It lives. I've never slid there actually, but I would definitely like to go there. It seems like a very nice track and a very nice surrounding and a very nice place.
Beautiful location in the French Alps. Well, considerably behind the Germans right now to the finish line. Poland skidding to the left wall, 43.357, but it's good enough right now for 2nd place ahead of Italy and Romania, but well in back of the leading Germans.
That was a solid run, but yeah, you cannot expect the Polish team to compete with the German team on their home track.
Die dritte in Lillehammer beim ersten Weltcup dieser Saison aus Lettland. Sie sind die Nächsten und die können schon einmal.
Nice and early entrance into 13. Looks very nice.
Everyone will qualify for a second run in this smaller field of 13 sleds here in run number 1. Germany out in front. Latvia getting ready at the top. Robanica, Bogdanova, a young Latvian team. But next to Germany, Latvia has more women's doubles athletes than any nation. They've fielded 7 or 8 different athletes over the last couple of years in women's doubles.
They have a big team in general. They do a very good job at recruiting young athletes into the sport, and those two girls have a big potential in the sport. They've been showing great speed already in the last year and also in the 2 past races. Just sometimes have a little bit of problems with the lines, but they, that will come with experience. And here they had.
We're looking. Yeah, this could be a second place.
Yeah.
It should be here. Yeah, second place. The first team to at least come anywhere within a half second of the leading Germans. What's great, Leon, is of the strong nations in this sport, Italy, Germany, USA, Austria, those are all big countries. Latvia is certainly one of the best in the sports world and by far the smallest nation, population-wise.
Definitely, yeah. But luge has a big tradition in Latvia, and they've been doing a great work in recruiting new athletes using their home track in Sigulda. And if you know how to drive Sigulda, you definitely know how to drive all the other tracks in the world. So
anywhere, right?
Yeah.
And in all of the sliding sports, in skeleton and bobsleigh, they have Olympic medals. Just such a great tradition.
Yeah, sliding is a great tradition.
We'll be in there right after the new year, the race in Sigulda. Here's the team that won the World Championship on this very track 2 years ago in Oberhof, Jessica Degenhardt and Cheyenne Rosenthal. This is not the home track for either of these 2 Germans, but they do a lot of training here in the preseason.
And start record. That's a good way to start into the race. So now we will see what the time of Eidberg and Machina is worth. That's the first test.
7.63, better the former start record that by 0.04 of a second that the Americans held.
Great
now,
lines.
Eidberger had problems down here.
Yeah.
Degenhardt does not.
Yeah, she will definitely pick up some more time. Yeah, that's a big lead. That was a textbook run. Going into the run with a start record and then showing these kind of lines on a German sled, on a German track. That's what you expect. And they better
their own track record by 0.03 of a second.
I think the track record was just set by Eidberg and Machina, wasn't it?
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yep. They held it going into the race. That's why we got you here, Leon, to keep me corrected.
Yeah, very relaxed on the sled. Barely looking. Nice. That's sliding right there.
Yeah, Jessica celebrates the green light, something that Diana Eidberger could not celebrate.
Nope.
Stechkiv and Malk now from Ukraine. They don't figure to qualify here in the top 3 at the moment, but top 10 would be a nice result for these 2 Ukrainians. They finished 8th in Lillehammer to open up the season. That was a very good placing for them.
Yeah, 8th place is a solid result for them. We see them fall behind, although the lines are looking great. They were just not able to compete at the start, and it's a very flat top section of the path, so you just just start to bleed time down the track. And by the time you can make up some time, you're already in the finish. So you need to be competitive at the start here.
Yeah, really nice sled position, 6th place time right now. Alina did qualify in women's singles this weekend. She missed out in the race last week in Austria, so she'll do double duty. We'll see her again in run number 2 today, this morning, and then this afternoon in the women's singles competition.
Yeah, that's a lot of runs that she has today.
And during all week and training.
Yeah, that's why it's very stressful to do both. And only a very few athletes do it. Nice transition here, going into corner 10. Looks like in control, and that's what you want to see here in this section.
Here are the Italians, Vetter and Oberhofer, always in the top 5 over the last 3 seasons. I don't believe they've ever been out of the top 5. But would you say, Leon, their 4th and 5th place finishes over the last 2 weeks have disappointed them? Start record.
Start record. That's good. Yeah, they've been definitely not happy with the results in the last 2 races. They're always super consistent, show us great lines, great position on the sled. They just didn't find the speed so far this year. So hopefully they will be able to speed up a bit for this race here. And so far it's looking better, yeah.
They finished 2nd in each of the 2 races last year here in Oberhof. The 2-time defending World Cup overall champions from Italy. They're in 3rd place right now behind the 2 Germans.
Oh, 3/10, that's a lot of time. I don't know, they're not going to be happy with that. I don't think so.
Right now they're closer to 4th place.
Yeah.
Or just about as close to 4th place as they are to 2nd place.
Yeah,
still have the Austrians coming up.
Yeah, exactly. Once again, great start record. And then they showed us a good line. They had little troubles here out of 13, but nothing major, you know, that can be like a few hundreds, but nothing crazy. And with that run being 3/10 slow compared to the German team, that's a lot of time, and they are definitely not going to be happy with that. I don't know, something is wrong compared to the last few seasons, because they've been known to have good speed.
Well, still a possible podium for Andy and Marion. But we've got 2 remaining here, 3, I should say, here in run number 1 from the seeded group.
You could hear a little skid in the start corner. That's what happens if you don't make the right cut into corner 4, and that can be a lot of time, unfortunately.
And as a result, Utaita and Kaluma have just the 5th fastest start time.
Yeah.
Seem to have cleaned it up here midway.
Yeah. Maybe a bit late into 12. Little rough. But so far, everybody's having good runs, or like solid runs. Which is
several
not
crashes
unusual for Oberhof.
Oberhof, that's right.
Because that's a challenging track here, especially on a double sled, with the quick transitions and the high points of center of gravity. Can be tricky, but so far the athletes are doing a fantastic job at getting the sled down in a good manner.
Is this why, Leon, is this why they don't race bobsleds here, just because of the contours of the track, the turns?
First of all, they don't have a bob start, so I think that might be one of the reasons, and I think they could race monobob, potentially 2-man, 2-women bob, but definitely not the 4-man bob. That will get stuck somewhere in the transitions 9, 10, 11. So. But that said, 2 of the greatest bobsled pilots of all time, Andre Lange and Wolfgang Hoppe,
were out of Oberhof, so you know they learned their craft, if not raced on this track.
Yeah, but maybe they started the sliding sports on a loose sled.
They did.
Yeah,
in both cases.
That's what I mentioned. Yeah.
And raced in nearby Ilmenau. Here's Egla and Kip. They won the race easily last week on their home track in Eagles.
The start time was not too bad, considering their start times in the training. I think that was quite a good showing of them. And they
picked up some time. Now they're in the green. Wow.
That's sensational. I don't know how they do it. But Selina, she has a great position on the sled. She's as relaxed as anybody. And they find speed, which is just insane.
That is an impressive lower half of the track.
Yeah.
For the team. They had a disappointing opening race with a crash in Lillehammer. They ended up 6th in that race. As I mentioned, they won easily last weekend. And Leon, you said you don't know how they do it, but this nation has some incredible technicians behind the sled setups.
Yes, they definitely do, but they are also sliding well, I have to say. Selina was showing great sliding. She's looking relaxed she's looking like on the couch. She's laying on the couch, and that's what helps you go fast in a loose track. And with the handicap at the start, 800s behind, and then being in the lead with 110s, that is that's nothing short but incredible.
Egla and Kip finish with run number 1 in podium position. We have 3 teams remaining, 1 from Germany, 2 from the United States, including the team that won the World Cup opener this season in Norway, Siobhan Forgan, Sophie Kirkby. Siobhan originally from Australia before moving to the USA.
You could see another start record maybe. Sophie was calling it out on her channel. Not quite. Third place start time.
7.641. They did have the start record entering this week. Before that was bettered earlier in the run.
You see them already fall behind the Austrian team.
Right, and we saw in Lillehammer they won that race by being really fast on the lower part of the track.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe they can speed up again. Here out of corner 13. Still looking good, but I don't think she's able to go.
We're looking at about a 5th place here. Yeah, 5th, 42.794. Oberhof has not been kind to the United States over the past many seasons, so top 5, not too bad for the 2 of them at the moment.
Oberhof is definitely one of the hardest tracks to go fast in. Definitely. But the Austrians know how to do it, the Germans know how to do it, Latvians know how to do it. US Americans are struggling a bit here, and I would say the Italians as well.
Austria leading the way over 2 German teams. Italy currently in 4th place, and this American team in the number 5 position, with 2 remaining now. And each of these final 2 teams are making their season debuts. First from Germany, Alisa Storch and Paulina Patz, a young team, 20 and 19 years old. They did not race at the World Cup here last season, but they did get a little World Cup action. In fact, they had a top 10 in Innsbruck last season.
I'm excited to see what they can do, the young German double. Lines are looking good. Some skids out of 11. Carrying a bit too much height at the end and then overcorrected it, and also troubles here out of 13. Not the run that they were hoping for.
7th place right now. And really, Leon, that gives you an indication of how nerve-wracking racing can be. We've got to believe they know this track pretty well. They've had some good training runs here. But once you're put into the spotlight, it's an entirely different thing.
Yep, definitely. And being a luge athlete, you know it. You have to be perfect, or like close to perfection every time you go down the track if you want to be able to compete with the best in the world, and that can be nerve-wracking, and it definitely takes some time. But I'm sure that they will gain a lot of experience and get better at racing and handling the race pressure.
And a good morning shout out to Ken, who's up early watching as always from North Carolina, and letting us know that they have raced on the World Cup here with the Parabobs a few seasons ago. Yep, in Oberhof. So welcome back to the World Cup Tour for Maya Chan of the USA, former top 4 finisher at the World Championships. And Maya has had a few podiums with her former partner, Rianne Weiler, but now teaming up with 20-year-old Sophie Gordon in their first World Cup together.
Oh, a little bump early to 7. Maybe too early to 9. Yeah, good correction.
Top 10 would be probably a realistic finish in their first ever race together on a very difficult track, as they make their way across the finish line in 10th place. Leon, your thoughts on that? When you've only had a few months together as teammates, do you throw them out to Oberhof and learn the lessons quickly, or do you try to bring them along slowly? What would be if you were the coach?
Oh, I don't know. Oberhof is a big challenge on a double sled. I don't know. They must have had some good training runs back in the US and back in Whistler, so that the coaches said, you know, you could come and give it a go at your first World Cup debut on this challenging track. And I think they did all right. They had some troubles here in the midsections, but you know, they're just here to gain experience of racing in the World Cup with the best of the world. And Maya has already a lot of experience in doing that, but Sophia is also is new on the sled, and they just need to get a feeling for each other. And I think they will bless us with some good results and some good sliding throughout the second half of the season.
Very well said, Leon. As we've reached the end of run number 1 here in women's doubles. Of standings coming up in a moment, then a little bit of a break. It's the 6 teams you would expect to see in the top 6 at the moment. Austria followed by a pair of Germans, the Italians, the Americans, and the Latvians. The rest of the field, the other 7, will be jockeying for position, hoping to stay in the top 10 in run number 2, and hoping to represent their country tomorrow in the team relay. So Leon, take a little bit of a break here. Do you think the Austrians will hang on here in run number 2?
Yeah, I would think so, yeah. My prediction is that they will. They've been showing great sliding through training. They look super relaxed on the sled. You know, I don't see why they shouldn't be able to repeat that in the second run. And yeah, that is a good showing for them, at least in the first run. So, but you know, anything can happen, especially here on a double sled. It's like that, and you have troubles, and the race is basically over. So it will be exciting to see. Yeah.
And we will see in just over a half hour. Stick around. Run number 2 in both women's and men's doubles coming up from Oberhof in just a short while.
Ganz liebe Grüße gehen an euch aus. Und die Firma E-Best. Guckt doch mal an. Und liebe Freunde, ist ja auch die sorgen dafür, dass ihr nicht dieses Jahr den Schals gewinnt. Schöne Schals, weil ich gebe das mal unseren Pressesprecher und Verantwortlichen